There's a new report that was actually just released yesterday that's pointing to the fact that our housing market clearly has some challenges in the road ahead. This is because the National Association of Realtors, or NAR, released pending home sales for the US yesterday. So in today's video, I'm going to give you guys an update regarding this. Also have an update for you guys regarding housing inventory as well as mortgage rates. And with that said, I have a lot to share in today's video, so let's go ahead and dive right in. And of course, if you guys aren't subscribed just yet, please do so. I post frequent housing market updates so you guys can be more informed and actually really enjoy making these videos for you guys. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive right in. Again, this is according to the National Association of Realtors, just released on the 28th of September here. It says pending home sales decreased for the third consecutive month, down 2% from July. However, though, that's not the biggest news. It says here, compared to the previous year, contract signings, which of course are pending home sales, retracted by double-digit percentages in each region. So compared to 1 year ago, the number of pending home sales decreased by double-digit percentages from 1 year ago in each of these four major regions that the National Association of Realtors reports on. But again, that's not the biggest news. I actually want to share some insights because this decrease in pending home sales for August has now fallen to its lowest levels in over a decade. And more on that here in just a little bit because this is based on my own analysis using the National Association of Realtors data here. It says here 3 out of the 4 major regions in the US, of course, experienced month-over-month decreases in transactions or contracts signed. However, in the West, they saw a modest gain. Year over year, though, all 4 major regions posted double-digit declines. On a national level, their index for pending home sales decreased by 2%. But of course, it varied greatly compared to the region. So in the West, it actually increased by 1.4%, whereas in the South, it decreased by 0.9%. In the Northeast, it fell by 3.4%, and in the Midwest, falling by 5.2%. So their pending home sale index, or the PHSI, actually fell 24.2% from 1 year ago. This is more or less in line with what Redfin's tracking as well. So as of today, which is the 29th, this is for the 4 weeks ending September 25th, I should say. Their pending home sale index fell by 23% compared to 1 year ago. However, though, the National Association of Realtors here is only for August. So look at August data more or less for Redfin here. August data is more or less right here, falling by 19.6% on a year-over-year basis. In other words, very close to what the National Association of Realtors is reporting, down 24.2% from August of 2021. And you can see this trend when looking at this graphic right here because their index right now, 88.4, far below 2021's levels when we were over 100, actually going all the way until March. The index was over 100. Now it's only 88.4. Also at current levels for 88.4 is far below the past few years as well because in 2021, for the year as a whole, their index was 115. 2020 it was 111. In 2019, it was just under 106. So the number of contract signings is down greatly from 1 year ago, down by 24.2%. And also look at these giant decreases by each of these regions here, because in the West, decreasing by 31% compared to 1 year ago, the South down by 24%, the Midwest down by 21%, and also in the Northeast down by 19%. However, though, that's not the biggest news headline here because a decrease by 24.2% is definitely significant. But have a look at this because this is according to my own analysis using the National Association of Realtors historical data that actually granted me permission today to share this with you guys. Because you can see right here, it says you can't share this information without NAR's consent. I emailed them today. They granted me permission to share this with you guys. So to have a look at this. This is according to NAR again. Their index right now, 88.4. This is the lowest levels, excluding April 2020, which of course was the onset of pandemic. The levels we have right now are the lowest levels since May 2011, when the index was only 87.8. What this means is that the number of contract signings based on their index here are at the lowest levels in 11 years. And again, this is based on my own analysis of their data here. It's not shared in their press release, and I'm guessing you probably won't hear this anywhere else. And if you guys appreciate that, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. So I want to share the actual data here. So 88.4 excluding April 2020, which was right here, April 2020, their index was 71.6. Obviously, has more to do regarding the onset of pandemic and, of course, COVID lockdowns. So at 88.4, you have to go all the way back right here to May 2011 when the index was 87.7. So when we're looking at headlines down by 2% compared to 1 month ago and down by 24.2% compared to August 2021, you really have to take a step back and look at what is it telling us right now compared to historical averages. And by my analysis here, the number of contracts signed at the lowest levels since May 2011 is pretty eye-opening. Clearly, this decrease of contracts being signed across the United States is due to spiking mortgage rates, especially this year, and especially since August 1st of this year. And actually, by the way, let me share the latest trends we have according to the Mortgage News Daily for mortgage rates today. So today, which is the afternoon hours of the 29th, the average 30-year fix for people with exceptional credit on average across the United States is at 6.82%. 1 year ago, the rates were at 3.15%. In other words, rates have increased by almost 4 points compared to 1 year ago, up by 3.67 percentage points. In other words, up by 367 basis points from 1 year ago, which is absolutely insane. Also, ever since August 1st of this year, when average rates were about 5.05%, rates have increased more or less in 2 months by 177 basis points or 1.77 percentage points. And the chief economist, Lawrence Yun, had this to say: "The direction of mortgage rates, whether upward or downward, is the prime mover for home buying, and decade-high rates have deeply cut into contract signings." One thing I want to mention regarding this is that back on the 27th, was it? On the 27th, average mortgage rates increased to 7.08%. And at that time, that was a 20-year high. In other words, we haven't seen rates that high since approximately 2001 or 2002. And because average mortgage rates have been more or less above 6% for the entire month of September, I'm guessing that pending home sales are going to decrease in the months ahead, and therefore the number of closed escrows will decrease as well. And Lawrence Yun went on to say the following. He says here more or less that once inflation comes down, we're not going to see mortgage rates go down until inflation becomes more checked by the Federal Reserve here. As a result of the current interest rate environment and weaker economic activity, NAR expects existing home sales to decline by 15.2% this year to 5.19 million home sales, while new home sales are projected to fall by 20.9%. So NAR is saying that their forecast is for 5.1 million existing home sales this year. My forecast is for 5 to 5.1 million. So we'll have to see what happens. And of course, I'll definitely keep you posted. Yun also noted the following here: limited housing inventory and almost non-existent distressed property sales has supported home prices. I would say yes or no regarding this, because yes, we do have a lack of houses being sold that are technically distressed. A distressed home sale, of course, is like a foreclosure or a short sale, which according to the National Association of Realtors, that represents approximately 1% of all home sales, and that has been the same percentage for over 1 year. So we have a lack of foreclosures and of course short sales because home prices have increased so much. But in regards to his quote here, we have limited housing inventory. It depends on what time frame you're talking about, because here's the latest trends we have from altosresearch.com. That's altosresearch.com. They have a great YouTube channel if you guys want to check them out. They post weekly housing market updates. But according to them, for housing inventory, which of course is a total number of houses listed for sale right now, at least for the 7-day average as of September 23rd, we have 556,000 houses for sale right now. Compare this to 1 year ago, we had 432,000, or just under 433,000 houses for sale in the US. And by my dumb math here, that's an increase by 29%. So more or less, we have 29% more houses listed for sale right now compared to 1 year ago. And that equates to approximately 124,000 more houses compared to 1 year ago. So when we're talking about limited inventory, it doesn't apply to compared to 1 year ago because we have approximately, 29% more houses listed for sale right now. And also, by the way, according to Realtor.com, also right now they're reporting that we have a gain of 29% on a year-over-year basis as well. So we're talking about limited inventory. It doesn't apply compared to 1 year ago, at least according to data from Altos Research as well as Realtor.com. But historically speaking, I think there's some validity to a statement here because compared to 2020, we had 567,000 houses for sale. Now again, we have 556,000. So we have more or less the same number of houses for sale right now compared to 2020. But pre-COVID, back in 2019, we had just under 1 million houses for sale. So historically speaking, compared to pre-COVID, yes, we still have a lack of houses for sale, but compared to the past couple of years, that doesn't really apply. Also, I want to touch on his quote here that we have home prices being supported by a lack of houses for sale and, of course, non-existent distress sales. It says here this is causing home prices to be supported. I would say that if inventory was absolutely skyrocketing and also we had a lot of distressed home sales, that of course would cause home prices to decrease greatly. However, though, because we had this big increase of housing inventory compared to 1 year ago, and also a decrease in pending home sales down to the lowest levels since approximately May 2011, if you exclude the onset of this pandemic here, this is actually causing home prices to decrease over the past couple of months. According to Redfin, the median sold price is at $369,000 on a national level. I believe this is the median sold price for the 400 plus metro areas that Redfin tracks on a weekly basis here. So at $369,000, that's only a 7% gain compared to 1 year ago. Also compare this to the peak, which was the 4 weeks ending June 19th of this year. The median sold price was $392,000, and at that time, home prices increased by 13% compared to the same time period 1 year ago. So home prices have declined from $392,000 now down to $369,000. And by my dumb math, that's a decrease by about 5.9% over the past few months. One thing I want to mention regarding this is that according to Redfin here, home prices have started to increase just a little bit because right here, home prices were at $366,000. Now they're at $369,000. But the year-over-year gains right now at 7% is far below levels we saw in 2021 and also the first half of this year as well, because on January, we were actually up 15%. And for the vast majority of this year, we've been over 10% until we hit right here when home prices only increased by 9%. In addition, compared to 1 year ago, home prices were up by 13% compared to the same time period in 2020. In any case, I digress here. Going back to this report here, it says he forecasts that prices, or the median sold price, will rise by 9.6% in 2022. Of course, it's very hard to make real estate market predictions, and I'll definitely keep you posted with the latest developments. Also, next year in 2023, they're forecasting for the median sold price to only increase by 1.2% for the entire year. Also, he says here, home sales will pick up in the second half of 2023, but will be down by 7.1% overall. So he's calling for home sales to decrease by 7.1% in 2023. And of course, this is after their forecast for home sales to decrease by 15.2% this year. And by the way, on a side note here, the National Association of Realtors pending home sale index is based on a sample size that covers only about 40% of multiple listing service data each month. And it says here, in developing the model for this index, it was demonstrated that the level of monthly sales contract activity, in other words, pending home sales, parallels the level of closed home sales in the following 2 months. In other words, when looking at contracts being signed right now, that really impacts closed home sales in the following 2 months. And with that said, please comment below your biggest takeaways from today's video. Also, if you guys got any value in this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. Hope you guys have an awesome day and look forward to seeing you on the next video.